Welcome to the Photos of the Past channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. This harrowing photograph depicts Nazi SS officers executing civilians during World War II. Likely taken in Eastern Europe, the image exposes the brutal reality of mass executions and genocide. The relaxed demeanor of the observing soldiers underscores how such atrocities had become normalized events. This photo was taken in 1943 during Nazi Germany's suppression of the Jewish uprising in the Warsaw Ghetto. The man with his hands raised has become a symbol of the brutality faced by thousands of Jews. The image starkly captures the horrors of Nazi oppression and the despair of the Jewish resistance. This humorous photograph shows a soldier labeling a large bomb as iron ration during World War I. Despite the devastating seriousness of the war, humor was often used to boost morale and cope with hardships. The image reflects the human side of the conflict. This photograph is one of the most harrowing depictions of the atrocities committed in Nazi concentration camps. Taken in 1945 following the liberation of a camp by Allied forces, the image of hundreds of victims exposes the brutal reality of the Holocaust and one of the darkest chapters in human history. This photograph was taken in 1945 after the liberation of Bergen-Belsen concentration camp by British forces. Female prisoners are seen smiling as they receive bread and other necessities during their first days of freedom. This scene symbolizes hope and the resilience of the human spirit following horrific conditions. This photograph, taken in 1940, shows the construction of the walls of the Warsaw Ghetto. Nazi Germany built these walls to confine the Jewish population to this isolated section of the city. The image reveals the systemic discrimination and inhumane treatment during the early stages of the Holocaust. This photograph captures the transformative impact of tanks during the Battle of Cambrai in 1917. A tank is seen crossing the trenches, symbolizing a revolutionary change in warfare. Tanks were used on a large scale for the first time during this battle, altering the dynamics of trench warfare forever. This colorized photograph captures a battle scene from World War II. A German soldier walks past a fallen comrade near a burning Soviet tank. The smoke and flames in the background dramatically illustrate the devastating impact and intensity of the conflict. This striking photograph captures a Grumman F-6F Hellcat fighter plane engulfed in flames during a crash landing on an aircraft carrier in World War II. As the aircraft burns, the crew rushes to rescue survivors and extinguish the fire. The image vividly illustrates the chaotic and perilous nature of war. This photo was taken on April 29, 1945, following the liberation of the Dachau concentration camp by American soldiers. Nazi guards at the camp were executed in retaliation for their war crimes. This image reflects the anger and pursuit of justice during the war's final days, while also exposing the harsh realities of the Holocaust. This photograph immortalizes an emotional and jubilant farewell moment as soldiers bid goodbye to their loved ones before heading to the front. A soldier lifts his sweetheart high to share one last kiss, while his comrades watch with delight. Amid the hardships of war, this brief goodbye symbolizes the resilience of love and humanity. This heartbreaking photograph captures a mother kneeling over her deceased child, bidding her final farewell. Standing beside her, another child silently watches as the scene starkly illustrates the devastating toll of war and famine. This dark moment in human history conveys the universal grief of loss. This photo depicts a female war photographer during World War II. Women's roles during the war extended beyond supporting from behind the lines. They also stood out as brave individuals documenting history. Smiling with her camera, this woman represents one of the strong female figures of the era. This striking photo, taken during the Soviet era, captures a veteran visiting the Eternal Flame Memorial. Despite physical limitations, this individual demonstrates deep respect for the monument. The image powerfully reflects the personal sacrifices of war and the collective memory they represent. This heartbreaking photograph was taken in 1941 in the Warsaw Ghetto. The child lying on the ground symbolizes the inhumane conditions and hunger crisis within the ghetto. The indifference of people walking by in the background reflects the emotional exhaustion and helplessness of society during the war. This photograph shows mass graves being dug during World War II by Jewish victims and other prisoners under Nazi Germany's orders. These graves were often forcibly dug by the victims themselves. The image starkly portrays the horrors of the Holocaust and the scale of inhuman atrocities committed during this dark chapter in history. This photograph depicts an American naval gunner during World War II. Positioned behind the machine guns on a ship, this soldier defended against enemy air attacks. The image highlights the soldier's youth and the harsh realities of war.